Hello victims and welcome to Survivor's Guilt. Today we look at the 2019 film Itsy Bitsy. I first saw the trailer for this movie back in 2017 and I've been anxiously awaiting its release. It's been trapped in what I think is called development hell for 2 years. So thanks to Shout Studios and Scream Factory for finally getting this bad boy distributed. Itsy Bitsy, written and directed by Micah Gallo, and starring Bruce Davison, Elizabeth Roberts, Denise Crosby, Armin Darboe, and Chloe Perrin, Itsy Bitsy is about a young single mother and her 2 children moving out to the country for her nursing job, where she will be living on the property of and caring for an eccentric old man who collects artifacts, while also trying to survive a possible supernatural, potentially godlike giant spider, while also mourning the death of her son and facing an addiction to painkillers. There's a lot going on here. A whole lot, especially for a giant spider movie. We open up to some kind of ritual being performed by a tribe, and after the title flashes on the screen, we see that something has gone terribly wrong. Well, that is unless the ritual was supposed to end with everyone dying. Wouldn't want to appropriate that, would we? We start off strong with 4... make that 5 dead right off the beginning credits. Meanwhile, these 3 dudes, one of which is just a cardboard cutout, are speeding through the jungle in their Jeep after having just crashed a ritual, murdering a bunch of people, and then stealing a black jar. Unfortunately for this dude, he has a nasty injury on his leg and it will never heal properly, so they have to put him down.
This is the only way, my friend. I'm sorry.
Wow, 6 bodies right at the start of the movie. Fantastic. Cut to a mom, Cara, her 2 kiddos, Jesse and Cambria, driving with a trailer to what will be their new home. This is the first hint we get of Cara's addiction to pain pills, and her shambled relationship with her son, who should have been named Coheed. We find out that Cara is a nurse and has taken a job out in the country where she will be taking care of an elderly widower while living in his guest house. Jesse doesn't approve of the move and is upset that they are leaving the city. We are then introduced to Walter, who, upon hearing some commotion, grabs his gun and sets out to discover the origin of the noise. Surprise! It's Akiba, the dude who put down his friend in the Jeep, and he comes bearing gifts. Where did this dude get a xenomorph egg?
The black egg of Ma Kalarati.
Oh, whoops, my mistake. As it turns out, the tribe that possessed this egg had tried to treat Walter's wife of malaria, and she ended up dying anyway. Akiba, who thought she was one dynamite gal, took that personally and personally went to that tribe as an adult and slaughtered them. Bro, that's an overreaction. And then took their black egg of raw calamari.
The black egg of Ma Kalarati.
Yeah, that's what I said. And brought this thing as a gift for our collector and to honor his dead wife. Naturally, Walter is uncomfortable with the whole slaughtering a tribe as revenge thing, but Akiba saw this coming and had prepared a response for him.
My customs are not yours.
Oh, okay.
A gift of this magnitude requires a trade.
Hey, that's not how gifts work.
My customs are not yours.
Oh, you already said that. I should have known better. Walter, not wanting to part with any of his collection, kindly points the gun at Akiba and asks him to leave. Akiba offers him one last warning before making his exit.
To touch the black egg without an offering is very foolish.
The next morning, the Spencers arrive at their new residence, and Cara needs the kids to take charge of unloading the trailer while she goes to work. Been there, done that. While Walter shows Cara around his house, Jesse takes charge of unpacking and taking care of Cambria. As it turns out, Akiba is still in Walter's house, and he's a little ticked off that Walter didn't accept his gift by giving him a gift in return. Like with a cat that brings you a dead bird or a mouse or a lizard. Except that this dude brings you a dead tribe and an egg. Hey, Akiba is a good cat's name. Speaking of cats, Cambria hears a cat outside and brings her bowl of cold SpaghettiOs as an offering to the stray. It's what cats love. If this bowl of SpaghettiOs is not poison to this feline, the dose of spider venom that this cat will undoubtedly get later certainly will be. Cats, being the natural enemy of man, hey, if God wanted me to be friends with cats, he wouldn't have made me so allergic to them. Have deaths that don't really bother me. Well, in movies anyway. However, having kids of my own, this child's attachment to this cat, as short as it might be, makes me a little less happy knowing that Mr. Whiskers will most certainly die. And judging by the look on this cat's face, it knows. We then get a crash course on how addiction works, as taught by our closest star. Which prompts Cara into some sort of flashback that I'm sure we'll get more of later. But downstairs, Akiba, who is just a real bitter dude, curses the god of the tribe he butchered, and then smashes the egg on the floor. Turns out that was just pottery, as if there was any doubt. However, it was the vessel of something really gross. Now, the question arises that if this thing was just released from the jar, what bit his friend earlier in the movie? I honestly don't know the answer to that, so we'll just move on and ignore that. Kara gets surprised by Akiba, who is a hurtin' for certain, and Akiba gets surprised by Walter, who again kindly points a gun at him and asks him to leave. Akiba, whose customs are not ours, was never taught that driving while intoxicated is not okay. Ew, that looks gross, Akiba, maybe if you poke it. Didn't help, huh? Akiba then succumbs to his assumed spider bite and becomes number 7 on our list. That night, while Walter does some research, Kara hears the call of the medicine cabinet and we get our first glimpse of, holy crap, look at the size of that thing! Ugh! The movie then kicks us right in the feels, hinting at what Kara's flashbacks are about when Cambria asks Coheed if Stevie will be able to find them at their new house. Stevie would have been Cambria's big brother and Jesse's younger brother. But we learn later that he was gone before Cambria was born. The next morning, Jesse, having found Walter's file on their table, decides to take it over to Walter's house. Unfortunately, his fingers are super sticky, like a spider's web, and he pockets one of Walter's artifacts, and then passes the file to Walter because Kara is at the pharmacy. Here, we get our first glimpse of Sheriff Dunn and the pharmacist. On her way back to Walter's house, Kara has some more of her classic flashbacks to flesh out the backstory a little bit further. Oh man, that means I'm going to have to add some little kid to the list. That's never fun. Cut back to the house where Mr. Whiskers has somehow made his way to the attic, probably just to die, when something moving in the corner catches his eye. Oh phew, it's just a huge rat. Oh wait a second, so you're telling me that this house has a rat, cat, and giant god spider infestation? No wonder Kara is popping pills. Well, see you in hell, Mr. Whiskers. Later that night, Cambria gets spooked by a regular-sized mortal spider that Jesse promptly crushes on the wall. Ew. Hey, but good job, Jesse. Cambria, not wanting to sleep in her room, climbs into bed with Spider Slayer and notices the artifact that Jesse took and lets him know that stealing is wrong.
That's called stealing. It's not nice. Still on his property.
Dude, this kid is going to be a lawyer. When Kara gets home, Cambria wakes up and tells her mom something that Kara won't figure out until much later in the movie.
The spider came by the window. It was big, like the kitty cat.
You were just having a bad dream.
Sorry, Cambria. We're not in the third act yet.
Will you check under my bed?
Sorry, kid, you're on your own. Check under your own bed. The next morning, Jesse ventures over to Walter's house to return the stolen relic. It comes out that Jesse might have stolen it to get his mom fired.
I'm going to fire my mom.
Is that why you took it? You want me to fire your mom? You can't go around taking things that don't belong to you.
Isn't that what you do?
Dude, this kid is going to be a great lawyer. Cut to Kara at a diner having a panic attack, and Sheriff Dunn comes over to talk to her. Kara, not seeming suspicious in the least, doesn't really want to talk though. Sheriff Dunn makes a joke in an attempt to break the ice, but Kara won't even crack a smile.
Look, am I under arrest or something? Only if you order the chicken fried steak. The meat is highly suspicious.
She then lets Kara know that she was a former alcoholic and she can tell when someone else is using. We find out in this scene that Jesse, Stevie, and Cambria's father is out of the picture, and that he and Kara had hoped that having Cambria would bring them back together, but it didn't. This is legitimately sad, and to be honest, after having my own children, this kind of stuff really affects me and makes me feel for her, and for the kiddos. Back at Walter's house, Walter has enlisted the help of Jesse to put the black egg of raw calamari back together.
The black egg of Ma Calarati.
Yeah, that's what I said. Walter proceeds to make sure that Jesse will not be able to sleep by telling him the legend of the Dark Mother. And because he tells it in flashbacks, we get to add some bodies to the count.
Spider goddess. A creator of worlds.
That's not right. The Cosmic Turtle is the creator of the worlds. You got your legends all messed up, dude. Because this spider goddess is one moody gal, the villagers started offering up blood sacrifices to her in order to appease her. And naturally, they go for the kids. So let's get this straight. The tribe, fearing the spider goddess, sacrificed their children to it in order to keep it from harming them? Gross. That's not a god worth worshipping. And as gross as it makes me feel, because of the flashback, I have to add one crying mom and 5 little ones that have been sacrificed. Ugh. While Walter is ruining Jesse's childhood, Cambria is playing alone at home and hears something in the attic. Unaware that Mr. Whiskers is already rotting in hell, where all cats go when they die, she ventures into the attic to find her missing feline, where she finds an old-school dollhouse and some jewels. Oh gosh, burn it. Nuke it with the town immediately. And just when you think that the worst part is over, we get a jump scare. For some reason, this little girl is not fazed in the least by all these webs. Maybe there were no spiders in the city. After finding the spider's egg sack, little Cambria starts cleaning the horrible spider webs off of an obviously haunted baby stroller, only to find some obviously haunted dolls, all while the giant goddess spider watches. Cambria, not taking the proper safety precautions, falls a short distance when the spider jumps on the ceiling tile. Luckily, she's got nothing more than a minor concussion and a creepy story. We are then treated to an exposition argument between Jesse and Kara. Jesse is holding a grudge because Kara blames him for Cambria getting hurt, but Jesse, overwhelmed with the move and the responsibility put on him, doesn't believe that his mom is doing her best for them. And when Kara walks away from the discussion and goes for her stash, she realizes that she has run out and needs to go get more painkillers, so as to kill the pain. Unfortunately, the giant goddess spider is making a real mess of their attic by molting. Kara, while preparing Walter for bed, this is an appropriate time to raid his medicine cabinet. But clumsy old Kara makes known her thievery when she drops his meds all over the floor and gets a lecture from her dad, Walter, which Jesse overhears via the baby monitor that Kara installed on the premises, which he promptly smashes. That night, the old giant goddess spider pays Walter a visit, but unfortunately, Walter has the old foot bleed. Oh wait, that's a damn giant goddess spider bite. I'd recognize one of those from a mile away. This one has all the telltale signs: searing pain, gooey foot flesh, and a giant goddess spider. Yep, that's a giant goddess spider bite. Called it. And Walter becomes body number 14 on the heap. The next morning, after a brief argument with his mother, Jesse heads over to Walter's to try to get him to rehire his mom, but quickly discovers that Walter won't be rehiring anybody. We then get to meet the most awkward policeman ever.
I'm gonna need you to come down to the station and identify the body.
Are you kidding me?
No, ma'am, please calm yourself.
What could have done that to a person?
I don't know, I'm sorry.
Let's just take it easy, okay? Donnie, why don't you check upstairs, okay?
Oh, okay, yeah, I'll go check it out.
Good idea.
And Kara gives the Sheriff Dunn a description of Akiba, whose body they have not found yet. Jesse sneaks over to the house to tell the sheriff that he knows what killed Walter. He tells her about the legend Walter told him, and much to our surprise, she listens to him and is not a jerk about it. So she tells him that she can use all the help she can get, and that if he has any evidence to back up the story, to bring it to her. But she does so in a very compassionate way. Meanwhile, the giant goddess spider is laying more jewels. Oh my. Oh jeez. Okay. Jesse then ruins dinner by scaring Cambria and talking about the giant goddess spider that happens to be laying eggs all over their attic.
Why would you do that?
Because you won't listen to me. And does one of us have to die just like Stevie?
Oh, well that escalated quickly. Just wait till she finds out that he was right. Boy, will her face be red. Later that night, Carol wakes up and realizes that the power is out and decides to check on the kids, who are not in their beds. Kara begins to panic before hearing creaking in the attic, and she heads up there to see what's going on. When she finds Jesse cutting Cambria out of a bunch of web, before pointing out to his mom that there's a giant goddess spider close by. That's the point where I tell these kids that they are on their own. Kara, tired of being a subpar mom, decides she is going to stick this one out for them. After Jesse frees Cambria, they slowly make their way towards the exit, constantly keeping an eye on the shell that once was the giant goddess spider. But wait, if that's not where the giant goddess spider is, then where is she? Oh, there she is! Kara gets bit before falling down to the floor below. Oh man, she is poisoned and sustains fall damage? Ugh, hopefully she's saved before heading into the attic. Kara, somehow still alive, ushers the kids out of the room before facing off against the spider. But the spider just takes off out the window. Jesse heads downstairs to get the phone, while Kara takes a load off in the hallway. Cut to Sheriff Dunn discovering the several-day-old corpse of Akiba.
Call the coroner and get him out here.
Jesse is briefly able to talk to the sheriff, and she starts heading to their house. Cambria heads back into her room to get her comfort animal, Mr. Giraffe, but instead grabs Mrs. Giant Goddess Spider, her discomfort animal. I'm not going to draw any attention to the quick rearranging room because it bums me out. And that's the nice thing about having little baby hands. Sure, I may not be good at basketball or football or playing the original Xbox because of the gargantuan controllers, but if I ever have to face off against a giant spider, mortal or not, those fangs would go right through these bad boys. Jesse, with enough force to throw the spider across the room, while also not hitting his sister, throws open the door. Man, spiders are ridiculous. Even when they are dead, they look scary. Kara uses an EpiPen to keep herself alive, and the kids head downstairs to wait for help to arrive, but they can't get out of the death house because the door is stuck. Cambria notices a noise coming from the chimney, and surprise, it's that giant goddess spider coming to finish what it started. Jesse puts Cambria in a closet and goes to face the beast on his own, and the spider pins Jesse to the ground, but he's able to keep from getting bitten. Kara, who really should be dead by now, but isn't because of, I guess, family, grabs the spider off of Jesse and wrestles around with it. Ew, you're touching it! Before going full mama bear and ripping the legs off and smashing it on the floor, leaving it a pulpy, gross mess. Afterwards, we get a little flash forward letting us know that everything is going to be okay. Because family?
He'll know. Because no matter what happens, no matter where we live, we'll always be a family.
Speaking of family, these guys get a happy ending too. And then we get a stinger with these two dudes.
Are you afraid of a few little spiders?
So now, to find out what are your chances of suffering survivor's guilt. This is where we look at the main characters and the death that surrounds them to determine what your chances are of surviving this movie. We start off really strong with the 5 members of the tribe that Akiba kills, plus his thief buddy who somehow got bit and then shot in the face by Akiba, and that makes 6. Then Akiba makes 7, Stevie in the flashback is 8, and then we have the 5 infants that the tribe sacrificed when Walter was recounting the tale, and then finally Walter, giving us a total of 14 bodies in the pile. Now to count the living. The tribe kid at the beginning, our main family, Kara, Jesse, and Cambria, that's 4 so far. Sheriff Dunn, her awkward fellow officer, and then the other officer that's present when they find Akiba, that's 7. The pharmacist, and then the waitress, the mother from the legend, and then the ceremony leader brings us to 11. And then we finally have the 2 dudes in the attic at the very end, giving us 13 survivors, giving us a grand total of 27 characters, approximately anyway, which means that you have a 48.1% chance of surviving this movie. Given those odds, would you even want to continue living in a world infested with giant goddess spiders? Tell me in a comment below. Also, I have a digital copy to give away, so share this to your social media and leave a comment below to let me know. And we will have a drawing in about a week or so, or whenever 5 or more people do that. Also, if you enjoyed this video, stick around and watch another one. And also hit the like button. Both of those things help me and my channel get exposure. Plus, if you would like to keep up to date with my channel, go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Alright guys, as always, thanks.